Hey, everybody, this is John Chaney with the Badass Conversation podcast. This is our first episode, and I am pleased to announce that we have Mr. Mike Bonventura Jr. today. Did I say it right?
Close enough. Yeah, everybody, you're the closest one so far. Yeah,
Man, I've been practicing. I was listening to a podcast that you were on, and you had made a comment that you go about Mike Bono because everybody gets it wrong. So I've been trying to practice. And so I just tell everybody I'm having Bono on. And
there you go.
See, they're pretty excited. They can't wait to listen and hope you can sing.
I cannot.
No. Me either. I'm a middle school teacher, and I like to sing to them all the time. And they're like, please stop. Please stop. So for those of you that just joined us today, Mike is a comedian. He's also a podcast host of the Ride Home Rants podcast. And he's also known as the Angry White Comic, which I love.
Yep.
Yeah. So first of all, I got to know, how did you get the name the Angry White Comic?
Well, it was a name a bunch of my friends gave me when I first started doing comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They basically I don't want to say they forced me to go on stage, but they kept hounding me to go up on their open mic night. And finally I broke down and did it. And I just kept going on these long rants, and it was just basically me complaining about my day. And I work in customer service too, as well as a day job. So I get ear beaten by customers all day, and I just have a general dislike for most people. So yes,
me too.
They dubbed me the Angry White Comic after like my fourth show, and it kind of stuck. And so I've just been rolling with it.
Well, it's not that I dislike people. I dislike stupid people. And
absolutely.
And that's it. And as I've listened to a lot of your stuff and everything, you were an RV salesman at first, and I think that's how you got into the podcast, if I'm correct, right? And so you were talking a couple stand-up videos that I watched. You were talking about stupid people and this and that, and I could relate to that a lot. But I think one of my favorite things, well, there's two favorites that I listen to that I really like was because I teach middle school, so this is my everyday thing. But you were talking about how people would ask stupid questions, and then you would gripe about it on the way home. But the one about the elevator with the lady asking you, "Is this the elevator?" I have laughed and laughed and laughed at that because I get asked questions like that all the time.
I really wish that I wrote that as a joke, but that was an actual conversation that I had with somebody.
I get it. Oh, yeah. Like I said, that's my everyday life.
It helped me come up with a new tagline, and I actually started a merch line, the Stupid Should Hurt merch line, because I just think stupid questions, something should hurt on them after. Like, I don't want anybody to die. I just want them to stub their toe on their way out. Like, let's just be
exactly.
That you now know. Oh, I probably just said.
I have to tell a story. Of course, I'm not going to say who it was because I'll get in trouble. But one day I was asked, "Is there a body of water near Massachusetts?" And I just kind of looked at them and I went, "Yeah, we call that the Atlantic." So, it happens. But, and then of course, every day, 7th and 8th graders, I hear it all day, but I love that joke, or that story anyway, that you told that one. And, I also found out that you are a huge, huge, supporter of pickles. And, yeah.
I can't stand them. And it's funny because, my wife loves pickles.
Yeah.
And she's always telling me, just try one. I was like, I have a general hatred for them, and it's just they're the nastiest things on the planet. And I see them every day in my fridge, and it's just one of the no, it's just can't stand them.
I'm like that with lima beans and peas.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know, and they're like, "I'll try it," and I'm like, "I am almost 51 years old. I don't have to." So, but so have you always wanted to become a comedian? Even, I mean, you talked about how your friends try to get you up on stage and stuff, but has that always been something that you've wanted to do?
Yes and no. I had thought about it pre-college when I was in high school, because everyone would tell me, "Oh, you're so good at doing impressions. You're funny. You're always cracking jokes. You always got a smile on your face." And I know being dubbed the angry white comic doesn't come off like it does, but it was true. I was always totally a happy person. But I was like, nah, that's not for me. I had such crippling stage fright when I was younger, and everything like that I was just like, there's no way I could get up there and talk into a microphone. And but it stuck me into it. I had enough liquid courage in me that I was able to get up there the first time. And once people started laughing at my jokes and the stage fright went away, now it's just second nature for me to run up on stage, grab a microphone, and just start talking.
Oh, yeah. I was like that about 20 minutes ago when I put the microphone in front of me. I was getting ready to do this morning. So, excuse me. How is it? I mean, I know a lot of your comedy comes from things that you experience in life, but how do you come up with your material, or I guess maybe new material all the time?
I wished I had the ability to just sit down and write jokes. I just basically started living my life, and I realized that either A, I could pay for a therapist, or I could B, get on stage and just tell my problems to a room full of people and a room full of strangers and make them laugh about it. You find funny ways to word things as you go along. I've been doing comedy 9 years now, and excuse me, but yeah, it's just I live my life, and I just get on stage and report about it. And for the past 5 years, I've been married with a kid, and he gives me more material than I have notebooks to write it down in. So it's just living life and then going up on stage and talking about it.
Sure.
Everything that I say on stage is a true story. Like all of my jokes, I could be like, yeah, I just sat down when I thought that was funny and wrote it down. But no, that's
well, I'm just going to get back to the pickle story for a second. I'm hoping that one part of the story.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I said all of that. I didn't do that part of it.
We'll be doing this live from jail.
Yeah, I only got like 5 more minutes of free time. I gotta go back to the cell. No, I didn't do that. That was one of the things that I've added to make it a little bit more funny of a story. But everything, I actually said all those things to her. So, it just, I've realized from doing comedy so long that the filter that's supposed to be between your ears and your mouth to stop everything from your head coming out of your mouth is completely gone.
Oh, yeah.
If I think it's got to come out of my mouth.
That gets me in trouble all the time.
Oh, yeah. And I still work in sales as a day job today, and it sometimes gets me in trouble because I just start talking, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I do stand-up comedy on the side here, so I don't realize where I'm at. You're supposed to be professional, and I'm sorry about that.
Sometimes I have to explain it to parents, I'm sorry, but it just kind of fell out. It was funny. I laughed. So, all my life, I've always been drawn to comedians. I've always watched, I still do watch comedians all the time. Who were your influences? Who did you look up to growing up, or maybe now?
Growing up, it was the Robin Williams of
Mm-hmm.
the world, the Richard Pryors, and
Yes.
all those guys, all the greats that
Sure.
kind of made comedy what it is today. Today, I'm a huge fan of Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer. I've seen both of them live, and they are, as advertised, if you've only watched them on Netflix, they are hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of I don't want to say emulate Bill Burr just because I go on these rants like he does.
Sure.
And Sebastian Maniscalco would be my
yeah.
top 4. Being another Italian comedian, I'm drawn to him, but I'm very animated on stage like he is.
Right, yeah. Tom Segura and Brett Kreischer. I just watched Burt. He has a new thing on Netflix, and I just watched it the other night. And every time, I think it gets funnier and funnier. But you never know what's going to come out of his mouth, you know. And so I tell all my friends, you got to check this guy out. But don't do it around your kids.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I got a cold, and I'm trying to fight through it today.
It's right.
Yeah, it's I guess next thing I wanted to ask you was, you said you've done stand-up for 9 years. What would you say is your most memorable experience that you've had, or a moment that you've had?
Most memorable. I guess I got 2. One would be honestly, it's still to this day, the very first time I went on stage, because I was so nervous. And just the way my buddy was talking to me pre-show, he was like, all right, so here's the lineup. We're going to put you up first since it's your first time. You're going to go up there. Let's face it, you're probably going to bomb. So we'll put you up first, and then we'll come in, we'll drop the hammer, and we'll just save the show. Whatever, it's your show. It doesn't matter to me. And I went up and I absolutely killed the room. And like everybody was laughing. I think there was a lady in tears because she was laughing so hard. And to the point that everybody after me bombed because I was that funny when I first went on stage. And the funniest thing that they said was, well, who put this running order together? Like, this is that Bono comes up here. He's supposed to be not funny, and apparently he's hysterical, and now I'm not funny because he was that funny.
You come off stage, dusting off, going, yeah, put me in first.
First, all right. But yeah, that was memorable just because obviously it was the first time. But a bad time that I actually had was recently. It was a couple months ago. I actually did my first festival show, and driving to this festival was the sketchiest thing I've ever done in my comedy career. Like, the GPS told me I was there, and I looked around, and there was just cornfields on both sides of me. So I was like, oh, this is where I die, because this was the setup the whole time. I watched so many criminal shows and murder shows. How did I not see this coming? End up figuring out that I just took the wrong direction, and I just turned around and found it. But that wasn't even the worst part. I mean, there's probably 400 people there, but they were all walking around because it was this big campground, and there were 2 people sitting dead center under a canopy because it was pouring down rain. So it was pouring down rain on us, and just 2 people sitting there laughing, but people were literally walking like up to the stage and leaning on the stage, and then they wanted to talk to me like I wasn't working. Like, it got to the point where I would just stop doing my material, and I just started yelling at everybody that was walking up to the stage, like, hey, this is my job. Like, I'm actually at work right now. I know it doesn't look like anybody here has a job, but I am actually working. Can we let me do my job? And like, no, we want to talk to you. You sound interesting. I'm like, I've been up here for 10 minutes and I've got another 20 to do. And why are you this close to me? You should not be this close to me right now. And it was just, it was fun, and it helped with crowd work, obviously. But it was just between the drive there, getting right on the entire time, and then basically performing for 2 people who actually wanted to see the show. It was a rough show.
Well, maybe those people that were up on the stage, maybe they came out of the cornfields.
They came from somewhere. I don't know where they came from. It was rough
because
I was in the middle of nowhere.
Oh goodness! Is there anything that you won't joke about? This is kind of leading into something. Okay, because I respect that, and of course when you tell me who your influences are now with Bert and Tom and Bill Burr and all those guys, they don't hold back either. But something that without me getting political, because I could, but I won't. Dave Chappelle. There's a big thing right now with Dave, and I've seen all of his shows. I respect Dave. I love what he's doing. He's being a comedian, and my opinion is, we got to make fun of things. We have to put it out there. We have to joke about it, and that's how a lot of us deal with it. How do you feel about Dave and how they're trying to? I mean, they're pretty much trying to cancel him out right now.
Okay, I'll try to do this and be as PC as I possibly can because I have
It's
a lot
all
of
right.
fun.
We're having a conversation. You just go ahead.
Well, here's my problem with everyone wanting to cancel Dave Chappelle. He has been doing these types of jokes for decades.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was one of the comics that I grew up watching. Was the Chappelle Show. Everything that he has done, I mean, what did they expect from him with everything going on in the world today?
Right.
And he goes up and tells a joke, which, again, is his job to tell a joke.
Yes.
And a couple of people in keyboard warriors got butthurt about something that they want to try to ruin a man's career because they were offended.
Right.
Cannot stand this "I'm offended" culture, and
everybody's offended anymore.
Other people really piss me off.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
it's. But what bothers me the most is Drew Lynch, who is another comedian. I like him. He's very funny. He just had a Netflix special. He just won America's Got Talent to get this special. So obviously he's doing something. He's a stuttering comedian. He did a transgender joke, and it was kind of along the same lines. But yet I'm the only one talking about it because apparently I'm the only one who's seen it, or they just don't care.
Right.
Why is it so bad for Dave Chappelle to make this joke, but Drew Lynch does this joke and it's fine?
Well, I think a lot of that goes with, and I'm trying to be good too here, but and it's tough. But I think a lot of it goes with there's a lot of people in our society right now that don't want anybody else to be successful. That's just my opinion. And so when they see people like David Chappelle, which if I've done a lot of reading about it and watching stuff about it, and he actually, the person that the joke was about, he was good friends with this person, and he has helped the family out and everything after that, and so forth. So, a lot of people think, and this is kind of strange, and this kind of goes with back to when we were talking about stupid people, but a lot of people think about, whatever comes out of your all's mouth, that you mean everything that you say. And some comedians do, but Dave was just, like you said, telling a joke. And I think that people, see other people being successful and they're like, oh no, we're not going to do that. So, he said what? All right, let's do it. And so that's the most PC way I think I can talk about it anyway. But
I'll tell you this, it was very hard for me to not drop a couple of F-bombs in my little couple second rant there that I just did about Dave Chappelle and these people. I got to give myself a little bit of credit.
Good job.
Just like a sailor, and
I do too. It's okay.
It was very hard for me to get through that without getting canceled myself.
Yeah, we don't want that. Another thing too, since we're talking about different things, I see that you're from West Virginia, and I believe you have a West Virginia sweatshirt on there today. I'm just curious. I live in Kentucky, and we have a lot of stereotypes. I've had people. We had a teacher here at school that came from Wisconsin, and she was literally surprised that we had shoes on. I mean, seriously, she didn't know that we wore shoes. And I was like, yeah, sometimes when we go to the Walmarts, we put on our shoes and we go. But it's just crazy. And then, of course, you always have those people. Always the best ones from Kentucky get on the news, and they're talking about, yeah, here came that tornado, and it was like a woo. So do you have to, I've heard stereotypes about people from West Virginia, but do you have to deal with that as well and explain to people that, yes, I do wear shoes and, my cousin's not my wife?
Yeah, it's every day because I do live in Ohio now. But,
okay.
Born and raised in West Virginia.
Right.
Yeah, I've gotten it my entire life. I actually, in college, I was dating a girl from New Jersey, and we went back to visit her family. And the first words out of her mother's mouth weren't, hi, nice to meet you. Finally, good to see you in person instead of just hearing your voice over the phone. She goes, wow, you have all your teeth. And yeah, it's nice to meet you too. 2 of them are actually fake, but yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
I took them out and cleaned them up this morning just right before I met you.
Yeah, and I get them all the time. And lately I've been getting, oh, you're married, so which family reunion did you meet your wife at? And I was just like, the third one. Yeah, it's just, that's where I got some hot cousins. I don't know what to tell you people. It's but yeah, I get it all the time, and I've just learned to make a joke out of it.
Oh, so yeah, and that's what I do as well. Yeah, and they'll say stuff around about where I'm from. I'm down around Lexington, and they'll say something about marrying your cousin. I go, no, that's not here. That's east of us. They do that over there. Not West Virginia. I wasn't saying that. I have a lot of good friends that live in eastern Kentucky, so.
I've ran into some people down near the southern part of West Virginia that have literally scared the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah.
They are the typical stereotype. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those things that I haven't really figured out how to formulate a joke out of it because it's that funny of a story. Right. I don't think there's really no fluff to it at all, right, except the fact that we pulled over, my family and I, to help a guy who was broken down. We were driving back from Myrtle Beach for a family vacation. And it was me, my mom, my dad, and my 2 sisters. And we see this guy. Me and my dad needed to stretch our legs anyway, so we decided to do the Good Samaritan thing and help this guy out. So we were talking to him for a little bit, and he finally looked at us and goes, where are y'all from? And we told him we're up from the northern panhandle, about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, if that helps you out a lot or any at all. And he goes, oh, you're one of them up there. And sorry, what does that mean? He goes, oh, I'm from down here where the men are men and the sheep are scared. And I said, the hell with this guy, Dad. I'm going back to the car with the girls. You can stay here with him. And I just left and went back to the car.
He didn't have a banjo, did he?
I didn't see one. It could have been in his truck. But yeah, that happened. And I was, wow, that men are men and the sheep are scared.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But it's always the sheep run like hell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness. What advice would you give to somebody that's just now starting out in stand-up?
I laughed because my wife heard that question and she just goes, don't do it. And just,
do it.
No, it's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Be yourself if you want to go on stage, but no, it's not like you're going to go on stage the first time, tell a joke, and hey, I'm a millionaire. Now I'm on Netflix and TV and blah, blah, blah. To put it in perspective, I've been doing it for 9 years and I still keep a day job. Just be true to yourself. You don't have to conform to what everybody else thinks you should be doing. Right. If you think it's right for your career to burn the open mic circuit that's what you do. If you want to really push hard and go out and be that road comic and travel every day, do it. Don't get in your own head, because a lot of comedians can do it. The first 3 years I was doing comedy, I wasn't really that serious about it. I was with a buddy of mine, and we were just go to different shows pretty locally. We didn't really go that far, but enough that we could drive home the same night and get up and go to work the next day. But the advice is, be true to yourself. If you want to go for it, go for it. But no, it is a very long road. You have to be willing to take the hits to get to where you want to be. It's like the old Rocky line. Nothing hits harder than life. It doesn't matter how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Hit some rough patches in my life, and it is what it is. I'm still standing, and I'm still moving forward with it.
Well, I tell you what, you done thrown Rocky in here. It doesn't get any better than that now. I suddenly want to do my Mickey thing and say, if you can catch a chicken, you can catch grease lightning rock. But no, there's a lot of truth. And that goes for a lot of things that you do. People have these big thoughts of they're going to go and do this, and they're going to be billionaires and this. Whatever you choose to do, you've got to fight for it. And so I totally agree with that. And it's not always easy. I think the last question I want to ask you is all the material, and I've watched a bunch of stuff since we talked the other day. What's your favorite joke that you tell?
Oh, that's an easy one. I've told this joke for 9 years, and it's still getting a laugh, so it's still a part of my act. There's people that have seen my act so many times, like, you're still doing that joke that you did when you first started? I was like, yeah, because it gets a laugh every time. I have dubbed it my rape joke. It's the one about when I first stayed at the ex-girlfriend's place, and which side of the bed she told me I had to sleep on. If you've listened to that joke, that is by far my favorite joke, and it gets a laugh every time I've done it. And the best one and the best laugh I got from that joke, she was actually in the crowd. We were not dating. I did not know she was there. And I started telling the joke, and everyone started laughing throughout the joke. And then I looked up, and I noticed her standing at the bar, glaring at me like I wouldn't be here if looks could kill. That's how hard she was staring at me at this point in time. And everybody was done laughing. I was like, and if you think this is a made-up story, she's actually the girl in the pink shirt standing getting very angry at me right now. Like, she's the only one not laughing. You can ask her after I'm done here if this is a true story or not. And she slammed her drink down and walked out of the bar before I finished that. But it's probably the best story ever.
That's awesome. Yeah, I related to that story somewhat, not as much as you go into, but when me and my wife first got together, I had a certain side of the bed that I had to lay on. And so, yeah, I related to that. Not as much in depth as you go to. And those people that are listening, if you haven't, you've got to go and find him on YouTube and other places and listen to this joke and the other jokes too. I mean, Mike, you're a very funny guy, and I've enjoyed watching everything leading up to this and enjoyed talking to you as well. Where can people find you? So
they can find me. You can find me at my website, MikeBonoComedy.com. From there, I have links to my podcast, the Ride Home Rants podcast. There's a link to my YouTube page. I actually, even at the very bottom of the front page, have a set list up. I will also have show dates on there.
Awesome.
Still working because the wonderful state of Ohio is in a state of shambles with shows right now. So I'm working on getting some show dates nailed down. But I'm a one-trick pony, and you can find me on all social medias at Mike Bono Comedy.
All right. Fantastic. Well, for our listeners, this has been Mike Bonaventura. Closer? See, I want to get it.
You got it.
I always had to deal with that too because my last name is Chaney, and I get Chaney, I get Chene. You know, like, no, I'm not French. So, Mike, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and once again, thanks very much for appearing on the show today, and I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.